And we are live. Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Swaggy Swag, Mr. Richie Rich, Mr. I Do This in Real Life just announced Dividend Day. It's finally here. He has finally proven the naysayers, the haters, the coons, the agents, Black COINTELPRO wrong. Although Dividend Day is a quarter late, it's here now. And the dividend that will be paid out to the investors in the TREF fund, drum roll, is a grand total of $1.76 per share that you hold in the TREF fund. So the minimum investment was $500, which would give you 10 shares. I'm no mathematician. I'm just a coon, an agent, and an Uncle Tom. But $1.76 times 10 would equal $17.60 is the return on your investment that you received after having your money locked up for a grand total of 2.5 years. I want you to understand that $17.60 is it's less than 4%. You didn't even beat inflation. But all of the hoteppers, the Back to Africas, the red, black, and greens, the B1s, they were inboxing me telling me that, see, coon, see, agent, you see, you just got to let a black alpha male work. Let Mr. Swaggy, I do this in real life, do his thing. Mind you, Mr. Swaggy Swag, Jay Morrison I'm speaking about. And for those of you who do not know why we refer to him as Mr. Swaggy Swag, I'm going to play the video for you at the Revolt conference where he talked about and spoke about how he does this in real life. So let me just get this straight. What he's doing in real life is the partners who may be himself, who knows, right? There's allegedly partners. They've paid themselves $600,000 in management fees up until this point. Now it's come to where everyone knows now that there's these inter-marketing agreements and there's these sister companies, and he's a serial entrepreneur, and TREF is the umbrella in all of his entrepreneurial endeavors and companies. They somehow seem to be tied up in TREF, where they're involved in the marketing and they're involved in different processes. So the question now would lead us to believe, is he receiving compensation since he's involved in these other companies that's receiving some type of compensation from TREF? Because he tried to sell you the idea that as the CEO, he doesn't take a salary, right? The partners have to declare whether or not he gets a salary. But the question is, well, who are these partners? Is one of the partners his wife? Could it be friends, family members? We don't know. To this day, has it been disclosed who the partners are? So what it looks like to me is that he is doing this in real life. He's doing what the fund was designed to do. He's winning and benefiting at your expense, you, the shareholder, the investor in the fund, because there's no way you can tell me that he's received 5% management fees over the past 2.5 years to the tune of over $600,000, and you only got back $1.76, and you think that that's a good investment. But the hoteppers are telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. From the very first day I laid eyes on this, I said to you, what he's doing isn't illegal. It's not illegal. It was in the paperwork. It's just unethical. Think about this. They started a real estate fund, a crowd fund, with no assets in it, with negative equity. But yet he's telling you somehow that he has to compensate himself 5% because he did so much work and he put so much into it. Yet there were no assets in the fund when they started. You took all of the risk, and he got all of the reward. And I knew that this would happen. So we're going to dive into, the press release and speak about what does this mean? Because see, This type of fund and this type of investment isn't designed for the demographic of people that he was targeting. These type of funds and investment structures are designed for people that they have disposable income and they have wealth. And I'm going to keep mentioning their names throughout this live stream because Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore were the first people to actually bring attention to why this didn't make sense. And everything that they said would happen has happened. And the Hoteppers, the Back to Africas, the Red, Black, and Greens, the B1s, they're trying to pat themselves on the back as somehow this is a win. This is a failure. This is a loss. This is not a win. And you need people that's going to be here that's going to keep track of these type of L's. This is a major public L. Because the majority of you don't have any wealth and you don't have any disposable income. The median black household's income is less than $42,000. The median white household's income is $70,000. There is a dynamic gap in income. There's a huge gap, there's a gigantic gap in household income. There's a gigantic gap between whites and blacks when it comes to disposable income and when it comes to wealth inequality in this country. And you have people trying to sell you that if you just stop buying Jordans, if you just stop going out here and getting your hair done, that somehow you're going to close the racial wealth gap. Yet you take them up on the offer, you put your money in this fund, and they give you back less than 4%. And they tell you, see, that's black business. That's group economics. That's swaggy. That's failing. That's failing. And we let people sell us this. We let people sell us that we're going to win. Group economics means that there should be group risk and group benefit. Him and the partners received over $600,000 in management fees. You got back $1.76. But somehow this is winning. And again, when you look at the data, you don't have disposable income to be wasting on a fund. See, when I buy this phone, when I go get my hair done, when I go and I buy a pair of Beats or I go get a pair of Jordans, I get that product immediately. I get a service in return. You hear idiots like Boyce telling you, oh, you went out and you bought Popeye's chicken and look how much money you gave Popeyes. You get a damn sandwich back when you go to Popeyes. You get something in return. These fools, when you give them your money, what do you get back? You get back a lot of aspiration. You get back a lot of, yeah, man, we just gonna do us. But do you ever when does the trickle down ever come to you? When does the rub off ever come to you? This doesn't make any sense, man. This is foolishness. It's foolishness. And those are racist, white supremacist talking points. When you hear a black person tell you that because you went out and purchased a pair of Jordans, that's why you're broke, you're an idiot. Because right now, let me explain something to you. We're watching your government pick winners and losers right before your very eyes. We're watching them take stimulus money and pick and choose how much stimulus money goes to which particular group. We are poor because of lack of government and government policies. The data shows it, and the data tells you what you need to know. Not because we buy Jordans. Now, yes, I believe in trying to bootstrap and do for yourself within reason, within common sense. We're going to get into the Carlyle group. We're going to get into the Blackstone group. These people have billions of dollars under management. Yet this man with 13,000 investors couldn't get more than $13 million, more than $14 million. What does that tell you? We don't have any wealth. We are a wealthless group of people. And many of us who are out here consuming Jordans and iPhones and things like that, we're consuming these goods and services at the expense of not having savings, not having a college fund for our kids, not having the things that we need in order for us to be successful, right? So I think that we need to make sure that we're being honest here. Give me 1 second. Tighten this up. Right? So I think that we need to make sure that we're being honest. So we're going to dive into a lot of stuff today. Please forgive me if I'm a little just, upset and animated, because I knew that this was going to happen, and we allowed these people to sell us this, and someone just has to keep it real, man. So please, as you come in, like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure that you set it to all so that you can receive all of my notifications. Make sure that you join the mailing list so that you can be notified when I go live via email, in case YouTube doesn't send you out the notification. If you want to follow me on Instagram, a link is in the description below as well. You can also shoot me a DM if you want to dialogue. And with that being said, guys, if you can see and hear me clearly, type 1 in the chat and we can get ready to get started. There we go. So it says BPRW, Tulsa Real Estate Fund declares cash dividend. East Point, Georgia. Tulsa Real Estate Fund LLC TREF announced its fund manager declared a cash dividend of $1.76 per share. The dividend will be paid out on February 12th, 2021 to all investors of record as of February 1st, 2021. When we launched Tulsa Real Estate Fund in June 2018, I committed that TREF would seek to provide our partners with long-term returns. We continue along that path, and to be able to declare our inaugural dividend payment is a source of tremendous pride for me, my staff, and hopefully for all of our founding partners, stated Jay Morrison, the fund manager for Tulsa Real Estate Fund. While the dividend payout is the first, I hope, as the inaugural dividend, it serves as an enduring testament to the forward steps we're taking together and practicing group economics through the historic Tulsa Real Estate Fund. That is from Mr. Swaggy, Rich. Now, why this is important is that if you come over here to the SEC report and you just simply go over here and you look at the management fee, in 2019, he paid himself $413,000. And in 2018, he paid himself, just make sure the years, 2018, he paid himself $182,000 in the management fee. Then he announced recently that there are multiple partners, right? So we don't know, is he all 4 partners? Are there multiple people? Are family members involved in this? We don't know, right? We still don't know who the 4 partners are. Or maybe you do if you're invested in TREF. I don't to this point. Maybe you can let me know. That's $600,000 that he's paid himself in 2 years. And then you have to start asking yourself, when you start looking at the operating expenses where it says marketing, general, and administrative, and then you find out that there's these sister companies, you have to ask yourself, is he receiving compensation from these sister companies that's getting paid and doing business with TREF? Right? See, when you start looking at this, you start saying to yourself, this doesn't make sense. Or maybe it does make sense. Maybe the fund is doing exactly what it was designed to do, what Yvette and Tone were saying from the beginning. That is designed for you to take all of the risk and for him to receive all of the benefit. Do you understand that $17.60 is less than 4%? You didn't even beat inflation. So in real terms, you didn't even make any money. Now, a lot of you are saying to yourself, well, it's only $500. Doesn't matter. I want you to ask yourself a simple question. Think about, there's something known as the opportunity cost on money. Meaning, if your money's tied up here and it could have been performing better somewhere else, Right now, Bitcoin just broke above $40,000 a coin. And I like to show this stuff because I want people to see it. Bitcoin just exploded above $40,000 a coin today. Back in 2018, you could have purchased Bitcoin for $6,000, $5,000 a coin. Ethereum is about to break its all-time high right now, pushing up against its all-time highs. Pull up a chart of ETH, right? And I bring this stuff up because when you was coming here telling me I didn't know what I was talking about and I didn't understand real estate, ETH was trading at $200 back when the fund launched in 2018. Topped out at almost $1,300 today. Look at the FANG stocks: Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. All of the places you could have parked your money and made 3, 4, 5, 6x on your money. But I'm the coon, I'm the agent, I'm the Uncle Tom. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not swaggy. I'm not richy rich. Yet all of my students and the people who I'm building with, we're doing fine. We're laughing all the way to the bank. I don't understand how we allow people to perform dismally. Just give us dismal results and then somehow walk around and say that they've won. They've accomplished something. How do you allow a man to do that to you? But see, we don't hold people accountable, and we just let them say things. The data is the data. See, one thing the ADOS conversation did for me, whatever you may think about Yvette and Tone and whether they're dividing people and all that, that's for you to personally think. When you anchor yourself in the data and you look at the information, you cannot deny that there's a systemic problem in our community. And this real estate fund will not fix it. Right? This real estate fund is not going to fix generational wealth. It will not fix the racial wealth gap. But see, people like Jay Morrison and Boyce, what they were doing is that while the ADOS movement was starting to grow, they were trying to interject themselves in the movement as if they somehow supported the movement and they were trying to build something with the movement. And then it was like trying to co-opt it sort of and turn it towards this fund. And we're going to get into the information, right? Because I think that this stuff is important, that we understand how we got here, right? And how this man was able to get to this point so that we can stop allowing people to use activism or, pretend activism or woketivism to somehow then sell you some idea like they have a solution, because he doesn't have a solution. He's a grifter. He's a hustler. That's all he is. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what he's here to do. And we have to start being honest and holding people accountable. Right? We have to start holding people accountable. So what I want to do is I want to play something for you right before we get to something. This is a video that he posted a while back, right? Because see, I like to kind of talk about where we started and how we got here, right? Because leading up to this point, before he got sick and before all of this, he was Mr. Swaggy. We're going to have multiple $50 million funds. What's so hard about that? We're going to buy back the block. We're going to love our people. That's what he was saying. And then now it's morphed and turned to, a pity party. So I want you to listen to what he was saying, right? Because we're going to get into the revolt summit that they had and all of that, because all of these things are relevant. Because what it will lead you to is that this man is just a jack of all trades and a master of none. He just wants to get in front of the camera every chance he can get to try to sell you a solution that he doesn't have.
We saw this week, there's a big conversation about reparations this week. It was all over Instagram about, we went to the Congress asking for reparations. I'm a firm believer in reparations, aka repair aid, aka restitution. But how the hell can we go to our oppressor, to our former slave masters' children, the same government that benefited from our enslavement, from Jim Crow, from redlining areas like Chicago, creating the ghettos, from the war on drugs, school to prison pipeline, the same government we're going to saying, we want you to contribute towards our repair and give restitution for all of your human rights violations and wrongdoings. One, that's some foolish. Two, it's even more foolish for a people that do not even give themselves the dignity and respect to speak to their women and their men with a level of respect, to ask your former oppressor, your current oppressor, and former slave masters' children.
Right? I want to repeat this. He says it's foolish to ask for reparations. Says foolish to ask your oppressor for reparations. He would never be allowed to say that in front of Jewish people. He would never sit in front of Jewish people and make an asinine statement like that. He only can say that to certain type of black people, to the demographic that he's going after. Because this is when the pivot started. See, this is when the swaggy, rich conversation started. See, it started over, yeah, we support reparations now. And then it flowed towards, I got the solution. We got to have a Black Rights Party and a Black Vote Day. Because, see, it was all designed to get you in the fund. See, it's affinity fraud. The way affinity fraud works and operates is that I have to somehow make a connection with you. I have to trauma bond with you, right? I have to show you a familiar face. I understand your struggle, right? And then use your pain, what you're really going through on a daily basis. Use your pain, use your struggle. And then say, well, I got the solution. It's the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. This is what he's doing to you. And then now when you get these results, when you get the $1.76, he already got the bag. He got the bag already. The day he released this video, he should have been canceled. But y'all called me a hater, called Yvette, Tone, anyone who questioned this, they were hating on a black man. You just don't want to see a black man win. Here we are now. You're sitting here with $1.76. Umar Johnson does the same thing. They do the same thing. Tone made a really good, just a comparison where he was saying that here you are, you're trying to knock down concrete to basically get to people to let them see, look at the data and just see what's happening. And you have the Umars of the world, the Boyce Watkins of the world, the Jay Morrisons of the world trying to pour more concrete and telling you that we could just repair ourselves, that we could just fix ourselves. That's what they're selling you. Getting in the way. See, I fell back. Once I realized what the problem truly was, I fell back. The data tells you what it is. You don't have to guess and try to make this more complicated than what it needs to be. For those of us that can do. But understand that there's limitations to doing. And just get out of the people's way that's doing the work. Do you see me sit up here talking about reparations? Do you see me trying to get in the way of that conversational movement? No, I shut my mouth and stay out the way and let them do what they're trying to do. Right? I stay in my lane and do my thing. If you truly cared about black people, if you loved black people, then you would understand, just stay out the way. See, because when you come over here and you just simply look at the data, you don't have to guess. It's in your face. The 2018 median household income varied considerably by race and ethnicity. Right here, black. $41,361. White, not Hispanic, $70,642. We're talking about income now. Do you think that these people who's standing out here right now, where do you think that they fall at? Most likely, many of these people who's probably out there, it's safe to say, they probably fall in that group of that 41,361. Right? Wouldn't it be safe to say that? Do you think that they have $500 to gamble in a fund? Do you think that they should even be playing around in a fund like this? Look how wide that gap is in income. Now you saying, so well, why are you talking about income? You need income in order to invest, right? You need income to pay your bills. You need income to live. You need income to survive. And then what you have left over is what you invest. You know how many people I've spoken to or who have inboxed me and told me they invested their last bit of money in this fund? Think about this for a second. Which shows that a lot of these people, they're lacking financial literacy. We know that. They have to take accountability for their own decisions. But he knows better. He should know better than to be trying to sell this to people. These type of funds are designed for people that have $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 and they're trying to live off of that passive income that the fund generates. Right? These type of investments are structured for people that already have wealth. But again, we let him sell us this. He knew better. He knew what he was doing. Go a little deeper, right? So this is from the Revolt Conference, right? Because this, I just like to show this stuff so that we can just keep track of why this should have been obvious that this was going to happen and what was going on even from back then. That's why I was able to put two and two together so easily. This is from the Revolt Conference, where him and the idiot T.I. was on stage talking about why we can't get reparations because we don't have a flag and we don't have a nationality because black isn't a real thing, which is just nigga dumb babble. But let's play it and listen to it.
Of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Can't hear. Of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Can't hear. Honorable Malcolm X said, we suffer from political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. I believe for us to end our political oppression, we need political unity. This is a healthy debate, but I think we're approaching it too micro and not enough macro. I believe if we're going to unify, we got to unify first around nationality. So my question is, Tip knows this. We spoke about it in your Rafe outside my office. Tamika knows this. We spoke about this for years. Puff, we want to bring this to you. We need a black vote day. Not a vote day about Democrat or Republican. We need to vote about who we are as a people. Are we Africans in America? Are we Pan-Africans? Are we Moors? Are we Nation of Islam? Who is our nationality? What is our flag? What is our constitution? What are our bylaws? What are our values? And so what I'm saying to the panel is us as leaders, can we be that intentional, Mike, about burning down both the masters' houses, focusing on our own house, galvanizing all of our leaders in one place at one time to vote on our nationality, our flag, our values, and have a black vote day in real life? Can we do that?
I think it would be helpful. I do. Because I think there's a lot of conversation right now around reparations and so on and so forth. But as I have been enlightened by Brother Jay Morrison, we can't get reparations because we haven't been officially classified as a nationality. African American is not a nationality. Black is not a nationality. So you can't give reparations to people who don't have an official nationality, a flag, a constitution, and you have a seat at the UN. You know what I'm saying? And also, so when people ask me about reparations, I'm like, well, that's kind of putting the cart before the horse. So I understand the importance of that, but I also think that it has to be detailed instructions, line items, step by step of how to achieve this goal, so you will know exactly what you're asking people.
I just want you to understand, these are grown men on a national platform spewing just pure ignorance. And then you wonder why we as a community, we constantly are in a position where we are lacking. Because we have people like this speaking for us. See, T.I. is so stupid and dumb that he doesn't know that he doesn't know. Jay Morrison doesn't know that he just doesn't know what he's talking about. He really probably went in the mirror and practiced that whole speech, that whole spiel that he just laid out. And he's factually incorrect. He's trying to compare religious beliefs and ideologies to citizenship, to a country, to a nationality, to an ethnicity. How could we be Pan-Africanists? What would that do to help us get closer to reparations? How would us being Moors, Nation of Islam, how would that help us get closer to reparations? See, when a person speaks and says pure foolishness like that, then that should tell you that he's not in position or qualified to be running a real estate fund. We already have a flag. We already have a constitution. It's the American flag. Black people in this country have already received reparations. The Tuskegee Group. See, just a simple little Google search. See, this isn't complicated. This isn't complicated. Just a simple Google search. Right? The study ends and begins reparations. Go look at this. Study this. The Tuskegee's timeline. Right? Where they were basically practicing medicine on us as black people. We receive reparations for that. The people who are impacted by that. Right? Because this is a justice claim against a government that wrongs you, a group of people. Right? This isn't complicated. It says, in the summer of 1973, a class action lawsuit was filed on behalf of the study participants and their families. In 1974, a $10 million out-of-court settlement was reached. As part of the settlement, the U.S. government promised to give lifetime medical benefits and burial services to all living participants. The Tuskegee Health Benefit Program was established to provide these services. In 1975, wives, widows, and offspring were added to the program. In 1995, the program was expanded to include health as well as medical benefits. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention was given responsibility for the program, where it remains today. The last study participant died in January 2004. The last widow received THBP benefits died in January 2009. There are 11 offspring currently receiving medical and health benefits. Just want you to think about that. The blind leading the blind. But see, this is what happens when you listen to these Hotep, Back to Africa, Red, Black, and Green B1s. They want to, what's the etymology of the word? What's the Latin version of the word? You know, we gotta get into the root cause of the word and get deep with the word, brother. Because you know, back in ancient Kemet, the letter J didn't even exist. And you fools will sit there and go, oh yeah, he dropping so much knowledge on us right now. Damn. We just gotta kick it. Oh my God. Saying a bunch of nothing. Just pure foolishness. So why do you think we can't get reparations? Because we got idiots like this getting in rooms and speaking and representing us and not knowing that they're an idiot. Not knowing that they're wrong. See, when Tone starts talking about the data and he starts talking about the information, you shut up and let him do what he do. You ask questions, you challenge, and you get a response. But if you haven't taken the time out and did the work and looked at the data and looked at the research, what qualifies you to even have an opinion? But see, it wasn't about reparations. It was about getting in front of a camera and using that as a moment to brand himself. These people don't care about your pain. They don't care about whether or not if you're made whole or not. They don't care if you eat. It's about getting more subscriptions into TREF. That's what it's about. Straight up. Thank you for the donations too. I saw a few donations come through. I want to shout everyone out. False Prophets, go follow his YouTube channel. He does an amazing work following Jay Morrison and just keeping up with what's going on. He said, I put $100 in Bitcoin in 2018. Now it's at $515.53. Absolutely. You've been rocking with, if you've been rocking with me, we have been doing absolutely nothing but winning. Polkadot, Aave, Synthetics, Chainlink, Ethereum, Bitcoin, VeChain, Matic, Cosmos, Augur. Everything I've been talking about has absolutely turned to gold. And I'm not saying that because this is financial advice, and I'm not saying that you should be following me, right? But we sit here, we talk about strategy, dollar cost averaging, spreading your buys out over time, trying to become more valuable in the marketplace at an affordable price. Not trying to sell you $15,000 mentorships. Think of how much money you sunk into this fund to get $1.76 back and have people tell you somehow that this is a win. This is an L, but it was designed to be an L. The founders received, or let me fix that. The partners received $600,000 in management fees. And you happy about $1.76? Come on, man. You can't let people play you like this. This is affinity fraud. But again, notice that he's speaking at Revolt. Why don't they go to economic conferences and speak? Why don't you see these people going to Congress? Right? No, notice that everything that they're trying to do is always about, like, urban culture, hip hop, entertainment. Because they want to speak to a certain demographic of people that don't know enough. Why do you think he was marketing and advertising this on the Shade Room? The reason why he was going after certain groups of people, because he know that the group of people he's going after, they're just not politically inclined. They're not going to take the time out to go out here and actually do the work and read these things. And the funny thing is, he was trying to raise $50 million. He ended up only getting 10 the first round and then the extra $3 million after he admitted that no one knew what they were doing. Think about this. He came, I played the video, go watch the older videos. On video, he said this out of his mouth. This is not me embellishing. This is not me taking his words out of context. He said, transparency. No one knew what they were doing. And after he admitted that, the investors gave him another $3 million. People invested another 3.7 into the fund after he announced he didn't know what he was doing. Let's see here. There was a donation for $1.99. Thank you. I saw another donation come through from Mr. G. Glad to see you are getting the credit you deserve. Congrats, brother. No problem. Yeah, I was on a Karen Hunter show earlier today. For those of you who are able to tune in and watch it, thanks for tuning in and watching and listening to it. You can go download it if you want to. This is my second time going on the Karen Hunter show, so it's pretty good. But let's get back to this, right? Because I just think that this is important. Like I don't, like when you look at this data and you look at this info, like I just don't see how you can look at this and you can see Black, Hispanic, all other races, white, not Hispanic, and somehow say to ourselves that we're poor because we just buy Jordans, and that this fund is going to fix Black wealth in this country and it's going to combat gentrification. And then you get $1.76. You're still at the bottom, right? You're still at the bottom. And see, to be a fund manager would entail that you are reading research reports, you are attending economic conferences, you're looking at Federal Reserve data. So when you see a person start saying the things that he's saying, not knowing the difference between race, ethnicity, and nationality, and a religious identity, not knowing the difference between that, then that tells you that you're dealing with a person that is not doing the basic prerequisite work. See, I know about decentralization, hash functions, digital signatures, because I read the reports, I study, I build, I develop, I do the things that I need to do to know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to be in front of the camera and be Mr. Swaggy and be Mr. Richie Rich. And see, this is how we get to Mr. Swaggy Richie Rich now, because a lot of you are wondering, why do we call him this? We need to get to this, right? This is important because after he makes this stupid statement and fool of himself at the Revolt conference, he doubles down. He doubles down now after he goes out here and he makes an absolute ass of himself. So let's listen to it.
Now, at the Revolt conference where I talked about us having our own nationality, and I'm going to talk about that real quick before we head out tonight. I didn't make this shit up myself because I think I'm fucking smart. I sat and talked with elders, specifically Baba Joseph Epps, who is the president of NCOBRA, the National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America. Been around since the 60s. Baba Joe, who's twice plus my age, he's the one that schooled me. He's the one that went to Supreme Court. So let's mark this for all my ADOS brothers and sisters out there, and Hebrew Israelites and Moors and others. I'm just giving you game the elder gave me. I know some of y'all don't like me because I'm swaggy and I'm rich, and I do this shit in real life, but get past your dislike for me real quick. Baba Joe, real quick. And I'm rich, giving you game the elder gave me. I know some of y'all don't like me because I'm swaggy and I'm rich, and I do this shit in real life, but get past your dislike for me real quick. Baba Joe is the one that...
See, notice that he said he's swaggy and he's rich, and he does this in real life. Why do you think he's swaggy and rich in real life? See, he's swaggy and he's rich in real life is because he's convinced the Hoteppers, the Back to Africas, the red, black, and green B1s, that this is a good investment, that it's smart to give me $500 of money that you don't even have to waste, and I'm going to give you back $1.76 in dividends, while the partners, whomever they may be, they receive $600,000 in management fees. That's why he's swaggy. That's why he's rich. This is why. And then you come in my inbox and you told me, see, you just hating on a black brother. You don't want to see a black man win. You part of that rainbow community. See, he's not making a fool out of me. He's making a fool out of you. He's not making a fool out of me. We winning over here. We are doing great. He's making a fool out of you. Because you think this is winning. And you like it when he get up there and he talk about Baba Joe told me from NCOBRA. Again, that whole idea of being an activist, these people aren't activists because they're actually trying to help you. They are using activism to profit. They are using activism for clout. They're using activism to get you to buy into what they're trying to sell you. Just because a person is doing things in your community does not mean you should give them $13 million of your money. A person needs to earn your money. They need to show you that they have the prerequisite knowledge and skill set to do this. What is his track record when it comes to managing money in real estate? Okay, he can draw on a whiteboard. Great. He understands some real estate definitions. Great. Have any of you actually looked at a portfolio of properties or real estate that he may own Can we get a reference from firms that he's worked at? And they, give him a passing grade? It's okay. You want to sell a course? That's cool. How you sell a course? We're talking about managing money, being a fund manager. We're talking about your fund manager online talking about he's swaggy, and he's rich. We're talking about a fund manager that's targeting non-accredited investors, going into the hood in crowdfunding, basically took out 13,000 plus micro loans, and he gives you back $1.76, and you say this is a great investment. Come on, man. This is just laughable. It's laughable.
Put me on game that they went to the Supreme Court, the National Coalition for Blacks for Reparations in America, NCOBRA. Look him up. His name is Joseph Epps. They went to Supreme Court for reparations. Joseph Epps, I said it again, Baba Joe. Baba meaning father, meaning elder. And so I asked Baba Joe in Mississippi on their farm, right? Black owned farm in Mississippi. I was there with the new Black Panther Party about 3 or 4 years ago. And I said, Baba Joe, why don't we have reparations? You guys have been fighting for it since the 60s. Why don't we have it? Baba Joe said, we went to Supreme Court. The judge told us that we have a great case for reparations. He said, the problem why we can't get reparations is because he said our case for reparations as Africans in America was similar to that of Japanese Americans who got reparations after their 2 years in internment camps during World War II. He said the difference between us and Japanese Americans, this is Baba Joe translating to me what the goddamn Supreme Court judge told him, is that Africans in America, or African Americans or black people, are not a legitimate nationality. Therefore, we could not receive or not be recognized as a nationality to receive reparations such as the Japanese Americans who have Japanese direct heritage. So I said, I'm like, okay, Baba Joe, I'm all about abundance. Like, all right, I'm a problem solver. No solutions, just result. I mean, no problems, just solutions. You know what I'm saying? That's me. I'm always on a solution mode. So I'm like, Baba Joe, all right, if they saying we can't get reparations because we're not a nationality, then how do we become a nationality? How do we fix it? He said, according to World Court statute. And I looked this up myself and read it for my goddamn self. I did the research. See, I don't be just talking to be talking. I do this shit in real life. So, World Court statute says, a people of a like kind, like circumstance, and like experience, who may have been colonialized or otherwise genocide or had the human rights violations, imposed on, those like kind people, if they hold a plebiscite, which the definition of plebiscite is called a public vote. And mind you, I wrote all this in my book called The Solution, How Africans in America Achieve Unity, Justice, and Repair. So I actually wrote out the whole shit. And my best-selling book is a bestseller in civil rights and liberty, Amazon.
I just want you to think about how other ethnicities and groups of people view us. We have Negroes getting up here talking about we need a flag. We have to go to the Supreme Court. We have to go to the World Court. We need a plebiscite. Just I can't believe this. When again, like I just showed you, you don't need any of that. The people who are impacted by the Tuskegee experiments, they had a flag. They had the American flag. They had a constitution, the American Constitution. They didn't need to go do any of this extra stuff. They didn't need to hold a plebiscite. See, this is just seeking attention. This is grandstanding. This is just getting in front of the room and yelling. Look at me. See, when I see stuff like that, I understand this is theater. This is entertainment. But just look out. See, that's how you know when you're dealing with a true narcissistic person, when you're dealing with a true liar, is that instead of him just coming out and say, I was wrong, I gave Tip some wrong information. No, he doubles down. Now I know what you're saying. Well, what does this have to do with the $1.76? It has everything to do with the $1.76, because this is a man that doesn't. He lacks just basic understanding of how government works. Doesn't know the difference between, an ethnicity, race, nationality. Doesn't understand there's 54 countries in Africa. They don't know these things. He thinks that we can classify ourselves as a Pan-Africanist, or we can classify ourselves as Nation of Islam. And he's saying he's a best-selling author. So now think about that. So what he's essentially saying is that he's a best-selling author. So think about how many other people went out and purchased his book, The Solution, and they're regurgitating and repeating factually incorrect information. I don't understand how you can just look at this foolishness. Even in Rosewood, the people in Rosewood received reparations. It says last year, several survivors recounted the Rosewood Massacre before the legislation, which then passed a $2 million compensation plan in January. The state distributed $100,000 checks to the 9 survivors. It already had paid $50,000 to each survivor last year. This is in Florida. It says Florida paid out reparations to the people of Rosewood. Arnett Doctor, a descendant of a Rosewood family who helped persuade lawmakers to pass the claims bill last spring, said the survivors are grateful lawmakers approved the compensation bill, but some believed much more should have been forthcoming. Much more should have been forthcoming. For some, there may be more. The $2 million included $500,000 to reimburse descendants of people who lost property in Rosewood. I just, I don't understand how you can just allow people to speak for you like this. Florida pays survivors of the 1923 racist attack. Black people in this country received compensation. Received compensation for the wrongs and the violence that was inflicted on them and the wealth that was stolen from them. In the Tuskegee experiment here in Rosewood. Under the U.S. Constitution, under the U.S. flag, we didn't have to put on a dashiki. We didn't have to wear ankh. We didn't have to put on a fez. We didn't have to shave our head. We didn't have to put on a bow tie. We didn't have to do any of those things. We didn't have to be swaggy. We didn't have to be rich. We didn't have to hold a plebiscite. We didn't have to do any other things that this fool is telling us that we had to do. But see, a lot of you like foolishness. You like you like listening to idiots. You like listening to nigga logic. See, that's nigga psycho babble right there. That's not intelligence. See, we just got to get our king and our queen on and everything will be all right. No, that's ignorant. And then to double down and talk about what Baba Joe told you on his farm that Cobra told him, that's ignorant. And this is why people laugh at us, because we allow people like this to get in rooms and speak for us. We allow fools like this to represent us. He's not anchored in anything of intelligence. Clearly doesn't have any education because he spent time in prison. And we somehow we think that this is keeping it real, right? This is ignorant. And this is why the fund is only paying you out $1.76, because you have a guy that doesn't know. And I'm going to keep saying it.
.com. If they hold a plebiscite, which the definition of plebiscite is called a public vote. And mind you, I wrote all this in my book called The Solution, How Africans in America Achieve Unity, Justice, and Repair. So I actually wrote out the whole shit in my best-selling book. It's a bestseller in civil rights and liberty, Amazon.com. I wrote the whole shit out, by the way. But neither here nor there. I do this in real life. If of people hold a plebiscite, a public vote, and adopt their nationality or their kind, and they do it unilaterally, and then get recognized by another sovereign nation of the United Nations, another African nation, Caribbean nation, European nation, whatever fucking nation, that people can then have a seat at the world court and also could bring their case for reparations to the world court. So we're not asking America to police itself and give us reparations. We can take it to the world court level as well as the Supreme Court level as a people who are self-determined, held a public vote or plebiscite, voted on our own. So I'm saying, if it's ADOS, cool, let's vote on the shit. If it's Republic of New Africa, cool, let's vote on the shit. If it's Nation of Islam, cool, let's vote on the shit. If it's Moors, cool, let's vote on the shit. If it's Hebrew Israelite, cool, let's vote on the shit. Let's be a civilized, dignified people and act as civilized, dignified people, not as barbarians and ruffians who can't hold a sophisticated conversation or debate without cursing and yelling and calling each other names like some fucking savages. Let's hold a civilized plebiscite, a public vote. Everybody make their case for who they say we are. We vote on the shit like civilized people, and whatever the fuck wins is who we are. And we rock out. Pan-African, Hebrew Israelite, Nation of Islam, Moor, ADOS, Republic of New Africa, whatever the fuck. African in America, African American.
So you know what this is? This is jailhouse scholarship. This is jailhouse scholarship. He reminds me of like my uncles and them when they go to prison and they finally pick up a book, you know, because they don't read when they're free walking around society. So, but when he finally gets locked up, he picks up his first book and he's like, wow, I read my first book and I learned a new word, plebiscite. And he wants to go around and let everyone know that he learned a new word. It's like your kid when they go to school, right? And you know, they learn a new word, or they have like a school concert coming up and they want to sing the song to you all day long, right? This is jailhouse scholarship. This is embarrassing, man. It's really sad, man. Right? It's really sad. It's really sad, man. I'm going to keep saying it because, see, they're using our ancestors, man. They're using the pain that our ancestors have endured for political and financial and economic gain, man. And it's just when you really think about it, you think about how disgusting and just how nasty this is. Even the way it was promoted and marketed, to even name it Tulsa Real Estate and it not having anything to do with Tulsa, right? Not owning any real estate in Tulsa, right? This idea that this power couple is set on purchasing and developing an entire town. Did they ever do that? Did they ever go out here and buy an entire town? And see, they want to sell you that they're doing something for the ancestors. That they're standing on the back of the ancestors. That they're doing something that no one else is doing. Yet we have a black families out here. Families buy 100 acres in Georgia to create a safe haven for black people. Go look it up. The Freedom Georgia Initiative. They went out and purchased this. They went out. There are people doing group economics. They don't have on suits. They're not trying to be IG models. They're not trying to be on stage with Tip. They're not trying to be in the Rafe. They're not trying to be dancing all up in the videos. They're out here doing the work. Buying up an entire town. Doing real group economics. Not trying to capitalize off of it. Not trying to brand themselves off of it, but actually trying to build things. And yet you got this clown, this con man, invoking the name of Tulsa, talking about going to buy a town, and he's not doing any of those things. And yet somehow you think you're winning. People say, why are you going so hard? You don't have any money involved in this. Why do you make videos about, talking about him? About 5 or 6 years ago, my grandmother passed away. Maybe 7 at this point. And my grandmother used to always tell me stories about, how it was growing up in Manila, Alabama, right? Because my family overthrew slave masters down in the South on a plantation. We have a tremendous amount of acres. I don't even know the exact amount. And when you're a kid and you hear these stories, you don't really understand the severity of the story. You just think, it's just a story. But when my grandmother finally passed away, I actually had to go down there to bury her on our land that we have down there. And when you start to remember the stories and you see what our ancestors had to go through and how they lived, like the real pain, the trauma, what was stolen from them, being beat, brutalized. My grandmother told me she used to have to walk miles to get to school, and she'll see people being hung from trees. And you have a fucking fool like this. It gets me so angry, man, that we can even allow a person like this to play with our legacy like that. To invoke young Malcolm. You know what Malcolm X means to black men? To want to clean up themselves and pick themselves up and reinvent themselves. And you got a clown like this running around here calling himself young Malcolm, using what the ancestors went through, the pain, the bombing of Tulsa, Oklahoma, that happened in Tulsa, the wealth that was stolen from us. And you got black people out here actually building and doing something. And you got a clown like this perpetrating. And you let him run around here talking about plebiscites, reparations. A lot of you don't understand. When you look at that data, many of you are not going to be able to survive and make it through what's about to come. It's a matter of life and death. Life and death. This is a matter of life and death for many of you. And you're allowing people to play games so they can sell t-shirts and sell courses and sell subscriptions to real estate funds and give you back $1.76. And you think the joke is on me? You think the joke is on me? This man is robbing your legacy, your ancestors, your lineage. So he could be swaggy, rich. It's not a game. COVID just accelerated what was already happening. We are going through the fourth industrial revolution right now, spearheaded by technology. Technology is extremely deflationary. It's going to bleed into so many different industries. I show you guys the robots from Boston Dynamics that can run, that can jump. Machine learning that can learn faster than human beings and do things. Robots don't get sick. They don't get tired. They don't need 401ks. What do you think the world's going to look like? Now, we're already at the bottom in terms of wealth, in terms of income. We're already the first to lose our job. But see, he has a history of jumping in front of things and doing this. And I think it's important that we highlight this. Because see, what you need to ask him is this check real? Right? Because we're talking about the culture. See, I'm a coon. I'm an agent. I don't know anything. What do I know, right? I'm not from the streets. Let you tell it. I'm not a real one. But what about this? Has he even addressed this yet? Because see, he wants to address the haters. He wants to address the coons. See, this is a man that's all about branding and using opportunity to promote and sell himself. And there's nothing wrong with branding and selling yourself. There's something wrong with using the culture and using our legacy and our lineage in this country to then try to brand yourself and promote yourself. That's disgusting and that's unethical. So as I said before, it's not that TREF is a scam. It's not illegal. It's unethical. It's unethical, right? Because see, when you look at this, it's alleged, based upon the documentation, that this was just a PR stunt. And then when we go and pull up the tax records, we can see, if you just simply look at the EIN for Street Dreams Foundation, Inc., and we look at the EIN 475077583, and then we come here and we look at the corresponding tax returns in 2015, we don't see $1 million donations on here or contributions anywhere on any of these lines. Go look this up on your own. Now, some of you may say, well, why is this significant? What's the point of this? It shows deception. It shows preying on the culture. It's 2015. I don't see $1 million on here. 2016, EIN numbers right here, 4750777583. You see $1 million on here? But he doing this for the culture. Bringing Black Wall Street back. Giving back to our people. Please. Say, he's a clown, man. This is clown shit, man. Straight up. Excuse my language, but it's just clown behavior, man. It's clown behavior. It's clown behavior. Again, 4750777583. You see $1 million on here? I don't see $1 million on here. Right? Your fund manager's an IG model, and you wonder why you're not winning. Your fund manager wants to be swaggy. But he's telling you to do this in real life. He's out here, he's doing this in real life. Come on, this is clown stuff. Right? And see, this is important because Will Roundtree, who from when I first came across Jay Morrison back when he was with the whole JMA Academy, he was always affiliated or associated with Jay in some way from when I first came across Jay. And this was years ago. He made an announcement. This is Mr. Will Roundtree, right? Mr. Will Roundtree. He said at the end of every year, we take inventory of what we have accomplished and give thanks. We reflect on who we are and evaluate the experiences that we have learned from to use them in defining and perfecting who we want to be. It is in these reflections that my quest to provide the best designed services for my audience has intensified even more. In order to embark on this journey, my path with Jay Morrison in the Jay Morrison Academy has run its course. From this point forward, myself and my organization are no longer affiliated or associated with Jay Morrison or the Jay Morrison Academy. I wish Mr. Morrison best regards and a prosperous future. Why is it that he loves black people so much? And he's all about his black brother. Why is he constantly having problems with his black brothers? Why? Because see, again, this is important because this is not about attacking him. It's not about talking about his wife. This is not talking about, notice, I don't have to do any of those things. There's a pattern of behavior, of unethical behavior. You can't keep having a falling out with everyone around you. And it's everyone and not you. You can't. Mark it down. I'm a coon. I'm an agent. I'm an Uncle Tom. I'm a self-hating black man. Cool. You can eliminate me. What happened with him and Tony the Closer? What happened with him and Roderick Stanback, who's on the actual JMA documents of the for the LLC? Why did they have a falling out? Why did him and Will have a business dispute or separation? Because it's not about black people. It's not about building black wealth and influence and power. It's about hustling black people. It's no different than what Umar's doing. It's everyone else. Everyone else, we're all the problems. Everyone else. Come on, man. At a certain point, we have to start looking at things and calling a spade, and people have to start being honest with the community, man, and being real with the community. This is not about trying to dig into someone's background. This is not trying to hate on a black man. Do what you say you're going to do. And if you can't do it, give the people back their money and move out the way. Because like Tone said in his video, and I'm just parroting a lot of things that Tone and Yvette already said. A black man is going to come behind all of this garbage, and he's going to have an idea for a fund, and he's going to have an idea for a business. And because people got burned listening to Mr. Swaggy, Rich, they're not going to get the support or the money that they need. So, it's sad, man. It's just really sad when you think about it. And as I said before, using the ancestors, man. There's people out here building in the legacy, building in the name of the ancestors. Because see, understand this. If you truly want to help black people, you can't be a capitalist. Most of our, if you, this is a thankless task. Building black people back up, rehabilitating the community, fixing it. Most people who are working on fixing the community, they die broke. Most people who are part of the community and building and fixing things, you don't get rich doing this work. Anytime you see a person out here talking about their swaggy, but they're trying to give, you don't get rich by giving back to the hood, by fixing the community. Most of our people, our heroes in the community who have built, they die broke, penniless, and poor. Your antenna should automatically stand up whenever a person try to tell you that they're trying to fix the hood. There we go. Like Mr. G said, poor righteous teachers. Come on, man. We have to stop allowing people to use our pain and our trauma against us, to sell us. That's why you don't see me talking. You don't see me using Tamir Rice or Akai Gurley or any young black male that's been a victim of police brutality as a way to try to sell my course or as a way for me. I don't speak about those things because it's unethical to do that. It is unethical to use the culture and then to somehow sell you that if you just join this course, it's gonna fix everything in your life. You'll be a millionaire in 10 years. How? It's unethical. And then to sell you a black power couple is going to this power couple is set on purchasing and developing an entire town. Come on. This man gave you back $1.76. Times 10, that's $17.60. Less than 4%. $17.60 you got back on a $500 investment. Come on. But again, you're winning. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Let's get back to the plebiscites.
Whatever the fuck. Don't just boss up and try to tell everybody, no, we this, no, we this, no, we this, fool, no, coon, no, we this. Bro, that shit corny. Who got business done that kind of way? No nation was built that kind of way. Hold a fucking vote. And let's call it a day. Let's unify in real life. Watch me pull it off. Watch. You heard it right here tonight, Money Church Monday. Watch me lead the revolution in real life. Like I always call the shit and I always go do the shit. Watch me actually organize the shit and pull it off, and you're going to watch all the major influencers in one room, be like, yo, what the fuck? Jay Morrison said this shit on Money Church Monday on September, whatever fucking date it is right now, 2019. This motherfucking young Malcolm, Hope Man, really went and pulled that shit off in real life. Bro, I get busy. I don't just talk, man. It ain't Jay talks, man. It's Jay does. I do the work.
And notice he said, this isn't Jay talks, this is Jay does. That was a direct shot at Tone. He took a direct shot at Tone right there. This video is old, by the way, too. This is from the Revolt Conference, for those of you who do not know.
In real life, every trip, I get shit done. So, no cap. I got a body of work to prove it, bro. That's my resume long as fuck. Like, super long. Crazy resume. Like, shit's dumb. All praises due to God. All praises due to Allah. Like, it ain't me. It's like, yo, God put oil on my life, man. I got a blessing on my life. 9/16, mark my words. So all I'm saying to our people is, listen, Malcolm X already told us, yo, we all got different religions, ideologies, philosophies, all that shit. Let's not squabble about our differences. Let's unify around our common goals. What the fuck? How hard is that? And if you have a leader or people that you follow that don't have that philosophy, I think you're probably following the wrong fucking people. If you have people that are just divisive, all they do is talk shit about other people, and they're not really big on building, and they just think their way is right, and they don't want to be like unified, and they don't have like a spirit of love in what they're doing, I would question that kind of leadership. I do this out of a spirit of black love. This ain't out of arrogance. I love my fucking people.
Thank you for the donation, A. Britt Atwar. I want to comment on what he just said there. Let me first, thank you for the donation. Let me read your post. It says, thanks to you, Eli, my knowledge in crypto bags have literally pumped over 2,500%. And oh, that Slack group at My Tech Academy has changed my life. You talk, teach, and train. My Tech Academy forever. I'm happy that I was able to help you. I get those type of messages all the time. Many of you who've been involved with the academy, you're doing phenomenally well. And that's what I focus on doing, because see, I want my brand and I want my name to be clean in these streets, man. I never want a person to ever come back and say I schemed them or scammed them or I pointed them in the right direction. Can an investment lose money? Absolutely. But it's how you lose. And it's, do I win at the expense of your loss? But again, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. What I want to do is I want to piggyback to what he just said, though. Right? I want to piggyback. He said, if you're following a leader or a group of people who are not about unity and building, then you're following the wrong leadership. And you know, as I continue to go forward and I grow, I start to really question a lot of things about myself too. And I'm realizing that if people like Jay Morrison and Umar Johnson, if they are the measuring stick for how black I am, or whether or not if I'm black or not, or if I'm a coon, I would prefer to be a coon. I really think that going forward, I would prefer to be a coon, because I know going that way, you're not going to win. If I would never unify with him, I would never unify with him, never. I will never unify with something that's wrong. I will never unify with something that's factually incorrect. I will never unify with a person who's leveraging the ancestors and our legacy and our lineage for political and economic and financial gain. I will never do it, right? So if that makes me, you know, a coon, an agent, if that deems me a non-alpha male, then cool, I'll be that. But there's no way in hell that I want to sit at a table with him. There's no way I have any desire to build with him. There's no way, like none whatsoever. This is, you will lose that game 100 out of 100 times following this guy. He doesn't know the difference between race, ethnicity, or nationality, or religious group, or religious identity. How can you build with a person who doesn't know the difference? How can you build with a person who's telling you they went out and did the research and they've written books, and then even after being corrected, still go out here and spew this garbage, right? So I don't see how you, I have no interest in building with people like this, right? But I just wanted to make this video because I wanted to tie everything together, because so many of the hoteps, the Back to Africas, the red, black, and greens, the B1s, they were telling me, see, look, he did it. He's a quarter late on a dividend, and he gave you $1.76. Just keep that in mind. Right? And see, what's problematic about this is that, you know, these people, they get to platforms where they get to speak for us. And whether you like it or not, these people, they get to speak for us in rooms where I want an Yvette Ortone speaking for me. If we're talking about policy, or if we're talking about, you know, advocating for certain things and talking about data, I want someone who's been doing the work. At least I know if they're in a room, they're going to broker a good deal for us as a collective. Because see, I understand I'm going to be fine. This is not about, when we talk about reparations and making each other whole as a country, we're talking about a black community existing going forward. I'll be okay as an individual. But I understand if Byron Allen's having problems and he has way more money than I do, then goddamn it, I'm going to have problems too. And as I get older and I grow, I start to see things a little bit more clearer, right? Things make sense to me now. And when I start understanding about government picking winners and losers, even if you believe in free markets, even if you believe in capitalism, the government doesn't believe in free market and capitalism. The government is picking winners and losers every day. The government literally today is saying what business is essential and what business is not essential. What does this have to do with being an entrepreneur? Because the government literally is picking who's going to build wealth and who won't. And most of the time, we are the ones that are locked out, or we're the last to the table. The Federal Reserve creates a lending facility for failing businesses like airlines. You can't compete. You can't compete. These people are insulated. They have a system in place. Now, that doesn't mean lay down and die. That doesn't just mean roll over. You know me, I'm a bootstrapper. I don't have nothing else to do but just strap on my boots. But I understand that I'm not going to come up here and tell you, man, we going to go here. We going to kill BlackRock. Yeah, man, we going to go over here. We going to kill BlackRock. Right? Right? I said BlackRock. Blackstone. Blackstone has $174 billion investor capital under management. $174 billion. I just want you to think about that. This is a private equity firm. They have $174 billion under management for real estate investing. You really think you're going to compete with them and stop them? Look at the projects. Look at their portfolio. Stuyvesant Town, the Arch Company, India Office, Biomed, the Cosmopolitan. And somehow he's telling you that you're going to be able to go out here and compete with these type of people. Look at the team. I just want to read something real quick. Like look at the team of people that they have here. Look at their background. Look at their pedigree. Do you see them in on a Shade Room advertising? Do you see them advertising on the Shade Room? Do you see their fund manager talking about he's swaggy? Are there fund managers or executives? Are they trying to dance in the video? Pose for the picture? Come on, man. It says Stephen A. Schwartzman is chairman, CEO, and co-founder of Blackstone, one of the world's leading investment firms with $584 billion assets under management. Mr. Schwartzman has been involved in all phases of Blackstone's development since its founding in 1985. The firm has established leading real estate businesses across asset classes, including private equity, where it is a global leader in traditional buyout, growth equity, special situations, and secondary investing real estate, where it is currently the largest owner of property in the world. Hedge fund solutions, where it is the largest discretionary hedge fund investor, and credit, where it is a global leader and major provider of credit for small, middle market, and other companies. Blackstone has recently launched new businesses dedicated to infrastructure and life sciences investing, as well as delivering the firm's investment management expertise and products to insurance companies. right? It says Mr. Schwartzman is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, the Business School, the Business Roundtable, and the International Business Council of the World Economic Forum. He is a former and co-chairman and partner for New York City and serves on the boards of the Asia Society and the New York Presbyterian Hospital. Please tell me, how are you really going to compete with that? Just tell me how. This is not me bowing down. This is me saying to myself, look what you're up against. So if you're going to compete, you need to make sure that you're bringing your best and brightest to compete. Do you think that Jay Morrison is our best and brightest? Do you honestly think that Jay Morrison is a person that you want competing with these type of institutions? And we understand that they're different sizes, they're different behemoths. We understand that. It's not an apples to apples comparison. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that this is the type of capital that's out here. This is the type of intellectual capital that's out here. This is the type of financial capital that's out here. So if we're going to try to compete and we're going to try to do group economics, don't you think we would want the best and the brightest doing that for us? Or do we want somebody that's swaggy, and rich doing that for us? That's all I'm saying to you. That's all I'm trying to say to you. I'm not telling you to lay down and die. I'm not telling you to roll over. I'm not sitting up here trying to say that white people are better than you. I'm telling you to be mindful. Know what you're getting yourself into. Don't let people sell you foolishness, man. Don't do that. Don't allow people to sell you foolishness, because at a certain point, you just have to say to yourself, like, what they're selling you isn't reality. We know the racial wealth gap data. We know the income data. And he's going after the most vulnerable people in our communities. And we just have to call a spade a spade. So before I take some questions and look in the chat, I want to wrap it up like this. I believe in doing for self. I believe in bootstrapping at the end of the day. I believe in those things. But I also understand that there are extreme limitations to that. And you need to be very careful with who you're speaking to and the messaging that you're using. And trying to tell black people somehow that this is a win. That getting back $1.76 after 2.5 years, when we're looking at crypto, when we're looking at the stock market, we're looking at so many other investment classes that are booming. The opportunity cost on your money, you lost money, you didn't gain. Inflation on average is going up by 3% on an annual basis. And that's if you believe the Fed and the CPI data. And you know, I don't believe anything the Fed says. Inflation's much higher. So in real terms, you're losing money. You got back $17.60 on your $500 investment. That's after 2.5 years. The management received $600,000 in fees. We know that there's sister, intercompany agreements with other businesses that Jay Morrison has some type of investing interest in. Do you think that's ethical? So at this point, man, listen. For you Hoteps, you back to Africa's, you red, black, and green, and B1s. If you think this is a win, cool. It's a win. I didn't believe that they would pay out a dividend anytime soon. I was wrong. You got your dividend. See, look, I can admit it. You were wrong. I was wrong. You were right. You got a dividend. If you think this is a win, congratulations. The next question that you have to ask yourself is, what's the financial condition and health of the company going forward if they were able to pay out a dividend? Because we know that they were already $1 million in the hole. So this is another, question that we'll have to wait and see. But I honestly don't want to cover this anymore. I wanted my last video to be my last video covering Jay Morrison. And I really want to stop covering this. I think the guy is disgusting. I think he's unethical. I think he's a liar. I think that he's a hustler. And I think that he is pimping our trauma and pain for, social gain and financial gain. And I stand by that. So I'll take some questions, look in the chat, see what's going on. Fix my stand. My stand keeps coming down for some reason. I don't know why. There we go. So let's see what's going on in here. See what's going on. BTC, Bitcoin's pumping. Yeah, guys, we mainly been focusing on crypto over here. Crypto market's been on absolute fire. Excuse me. So see what's going on in the chat, guys. And thank you to everyone that donated. Greatly appreciate it. This thing is like it's about to break. Definitely going to have to get a new one. There we go. We good now. Yeah, crypto. Is there a link to the Karen Hunter interview? Give me 1 second. You would have to go to Sirius XM, I believe. 1 second, I'll pull it up for you. Let's see. You would have to click this link right here, and then when you click the link, you would have to go like watch the replay and download it. See what you guys are talking about. Great work, Eli. Do you think ETH will reach 1,500? Without a shadow of a doubt. We should get a pullback soon. Guys, we're due for a pullback. The market's been on absolute fire. Obviously, we're dealing with assets with a fixed supply. ETH barely touched 1,300. Then we pulled back to 1,159. So I'm looking for more like a pullback to like $900-800. You know, this is crypto, right? So we get very violent swings. We need a pullback and probably like a month of basing. Polkadot's been on absolute fire. You guys know I love Polkadot. I'll pull that up right now. I posted the Sirius XM link in there. Coin Codex and see what's going on. Look at some crypto. Polkadot's been on a tear, 927, absolute tear. You have to understand that Ethereum, we're in the process of switching to the beacon chain. We've moved over to proof of stake now. On the 15th, Optimism launches. You're going to start to see more dApps and applications start migrating over to the new chain. So as long as ETH2 continues to roll out the way that it should, and we don't have any serious bugs, I mean, they've been working on this project now for 3 years, everything should be fine. And with Bitcoin pumping the way that it's pumping, it's only a matter of time before the institutions start to say to themselves, like, you know what, we need to start looking for alternatives, right? Because Bitcoin's just been on an absolute tear. So it's only a matter of time before ETH starts to, you know, suck up some of that institutional liquidity and money that's coming into the space right now. See what's going on here. See what's going on in the chat. You think so? At least altcoins are. Yeah, Courtney Gibson. I mean, look how much we just surpassed the $1 trillion market cap. We have a hangover right now. Plus, I think that we have to let a lot of this stuff settle out with what's happening down in Washington, D.C. with the stimulus. Are we going to get more stimulus? Joe Biden already said that the $900 billion is just a small down payment. So we should get another another stimulus once Biden finally gets into office. So we need to slow down a little bit. We need a little pullback. So a lot of people who missed out, they can finally get back in at decent prices. You should have a shopping list of things that you want to buy. XRP is absolute garbage. You already know where I stand with XRP. Stay away from XRP. There are better places to put your money right now. That's just the reality. Even if XRP magically beats this lawsuit that they have, why would you want your money tied up in XRP when you have Polkadot ripping to the upside? You have Cardano ripping to the upside. You have ETH ripping to the upside. You have Chainlink ripping to the upside. Why speculate in something that has all of this news headlines, future headline risk hanging over it, when you have better places to put your money? I don't understand. Right? I would never understand why you would want to do that to yourself. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm bullish on VeChain, Barrington G. I have a huge bag of VeChain. So yeah, Loopring's been a monster right now. I've been telling you guys about Loopring and Aave for a while. Aave's doing well too. Aave's doing well. Look at Synthetics. Synthetics is just a monster. Synthetics is an absolute beast. Man, listen, Courtney Gibson, Chainlink's my baby. That's my baby right there. Chainlink and Polkadot by far are my two favorite cryptocurrencies, like by far right now. Because I just knowing what I know. I mean, Polkadot's such a broad, deep, and vast project. There's so many layers and nuances to it. And I told you I recently started buying Graph, GRT. For those of you who are inside of the Slack group, I just recently purchased a Graph. You know that. And you know my buy zones where I'm trying to buy at. It was pumping earlier. Crashed down to 33. It was up at like 36, 37 earlier. I'm going to start looking to sell certain things now, Earl Edney. Once we hit about maybe 1.2 trillion, I'm gonna unload some bags. I have some really heavy bags, and I want to lock in some profit so that I can roll some of this stuff into some other projects that I believe in. I have a lot of Bitcoin. I have a lot of ETH. I'm not selling any of my ETH. I'm going to sell some of my Bitcoin though. I have a lot of Bitcoin. I have Bitcoin from down at like $700-800. So I'm going to unload a little bit. Once we hit like around 50K, I'm going to start unloading some Bitcoin, and then I'm going to unload some altcoins that I have, especially like 0x. I mean, I'm doing okay in the project, but it's just not doing as well as I want. I'm bullish in a lot of other projects. Especially now that, like I said, I start really building applications and stuff like that. Like I'm really bullish on like Graph, Aave, Synthetics, Loopring. I just think that it's superior technology. Ren, I really like the Ren project. So, I've made a tremendous amount of money in Bitcoin. Right, and I'm still going to I'll still hold a significant amount of Bitcoin. It just won't be as much as I'm holding now. I have no idea, Jay Washington, when we'll hit 50K, but we're well on our way. I just think that we need a pullback right now, right? This is getting, now understand we're dealing with a fixed asset class. And we understand that the Coinbase subsidy has been cut in half because of the halving, right? So we know new supply, there's less new supply. And we understand that the institutions are coming in this space. So this is why it's important, because you can't view Bitcoin like a traditional stock, right? There's just like the supply hasn't came into the market yet. It comes into the market every 10 minutes that a new block is mined. So it's important that you keep that in mind. And Grayscale is out here literally snatching up all of the freshly new mined Bitcoin, because remember, newly minted Bitcoin, they don't have any UTXOs attached to it. So this is very important, because for people who want privacy, right? Remember, all Bitcoins are not created equal. Older Bitcoin, they have more inputs and more outputs, and they also could have been mixed up in, hacks and things of that nature. Like you can track older Bitcoin. freshly minted mined Bitcoin, you can't. So there's a premium on freshly minted and mined Bitcoin. So we could keep pumping from here, but for me being around markets long enough, I believe that we're going to pull back, probably touch 34, 32,000 before we rocket up to 50. I like Zilliqa too, Phantom Beat. I've been looking into that as well. I have a bag of Matic. I have a bag of Matic. I have a bag of Cosmos as well. Decent sized bag. I'm not selling I'm a huge believer in Ethereum. The more I just build things on top of it, the more I dive into the ecosystem. It's just you can do more with Ethereum than you can with Bitcoin. You just can, and that's just a fact. And you have to be honest with yourself. Ethereum will have its challenges, but again, that's the value proposition. If ETH can do half of what they're claiming that they can do over the next 3 to 5 years, I think it's going to outperform Bitcoin in percentage terms, right? Just first of all, just look at the market cap. Bitcoin is worth $717 billion. ETH is worth $133 billion. So it takes less money to move the price of ETH and double my money, right? So in terms of percentage terms, ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin. Look, it's outperforming it. Look at it year over year. ETH is up 715%. Bitcoin's up 386%, right? So I'm making more gains in ETH than I am in BTC. Right? So it's a no-brainer. And then understanding staking and being able to get fees as a validator on the network is just an absolute, it's a no-brainer for me. Now, again, this isn't financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. I believe that what I see going forward is I see Chainlink and Polkadot absolutely flipping everything that's above it right now. I see Ripple getting knocked out of the top 10. This is what I see for my predictions for 2021. I see Polkadot and Chainlink just rocketing up. Easily, I see them hitting $100 billion in market cap. Cardano is a strange wild card. For those of you who are holding it, you may get rich beyond your wildest dreams because as of right now, Ethereum dominates DeFi. That stands for decentralized finance, for those of you who do not know. But you always need a competitor. I thought that competitor would be Tezos. I bet on Tezos. I was wrong. But Cardano, they're already starting to port over a lot of dApps that are programmed in with Solidity. So looks like Cardano's trying to make a run at DeFi. And it's already up 676 or 74% over the year. So it's an exciting time to be involved in crypto. But I think long-term ETH is going to kick Cardano's ass, my personal opinion. So but I still have my Tezos bag. My Tezos bag isn't performing well. As you can see here, it's up 80% over the year, but it's just not, we're not getting the bid that I thought we would get with Tezos. So, but I have a large bag of Tezos. And then look at the market cap. And this is what I really focus on. Right? I focus on market cap. Right? So it's only worth 1.7 billion. It's a baby. We just barely broke $1 trillion. We have a whole bunch of money that has to flow in. Institutions are going to be looking for alpha. They're going to start playing in these, mid caps and these low caps. It's just a matter of time. So same thing with Aave. Aave easily is worth $25 billion. Easily. Once we get into the DeFi course and we really start playing with the technology, and don't worry guys, I'm gonna edit this stuff out. I'm gonna take the video down and edit it. But when you start understanding how you could do flash loans and stuff like that, and you could basically get loans on Aave with no collateral, and you could liquidate people and do all kind of just powerful stuff and basically run a little mini hedge fund. So we're gonna cover a lot of that stuff in the DeFi course. Gas fees are just out of control right now. Same thing with synthetics. Listen, Um, anything that Brother Polite is selling, I wouldn't buy it. Buy at your own risk. Again, this ties back into the Jay Morrison stuff. There's only 24 hours in a day. There's no way a person can be a master of everything. You can't master every religion, speak 3 different languages, have 8 wives, master options, master the stock market, know how to go back to the BCC or the ACC to the DCC, be a scholar in ancient Kemet, be able to astro project, know about the diet that you should eat, and now you know about crypto and hardware wallets. I mean, come on, and be a dad. Like one man can do all that. You believe it, but again, this goes back to what I was telling you guys before. This is why other groups of people laugh at us, because when they look at the people who we allow to represent and speak for us and be leaders, just listen to Polite speak. And you tell me if you think he's knowledgeable in crypto outside of what he's read on a blog. Like, can he really get down and deep with the technology? Not can he debate the etymology of a word, and what's the Latin version of a word, because that's not the sign of intelligence. Like, does he really understand cryptography? Discrete mathematics, logarithms. Do you really think he understands those things and has deep knowledge of that? And cybersecurity and digital certificates. If you think he knows those things, because see, if he knew those things, he wouldn't be dibbling and dabbling in the stock market, right? You'll be over here playing with the big money's at. Right? Like, come on. We have to stop allowing people to speak well. They need to show us what they can do. I struggle to keep up with what I have going on. And I don't have 5 wives and 2 or 3 children and 8 different businesses, and I struggle keeping up with what I have. So how is this in being a celebrity mentor? If you believe that, listen, believe it. I wouldn't buy anything from that person. Yeah, Mr. G Recycling Guy, 100%. Remember Ethereum they were marketing themselves that somehow it was more scalable than Bitcoin. Remember that was the whole idea of Ethereum when they had the op wars, and that it was more scalable than Bitcoin. Yet now they're having scaling issues, right? So we know that Ethereum, the way that it was sold and marketed to the public, was a gimmick. This is why you're in my Tech Academy, right? So that we can have the real conversations. I know how to sift through the BS, right? You can't sell me the hype. I know what Ethereum can do and what it can't do. Ethereum is designed to be the world's decentralized supercomputer for financial applications. And the reason why DeFi makes sense for Ethereum is because even if the network is congested, the size of the transactions that you'll be doing in finance, they will be large enough to compensate the people who are securing the network, right? And it would make sense to pay a $50 fee to get certain loans and things done and complete certain trades, right? So, because it'll still be cheaper than traditional finance, but it'll still be large enough for people to get compensated and paid, right? So it'll make sense to pay $50 for that. This stuff is not designed to send a cup of coffee. Cryptocurrency is not designed for you to send. Buy coffee. Like Roger Ver talks about, like, oh, just go buy a cup of coffee. That's not why you would create a cryptocurrency, and you would utilize blockchain technology, right? The whole purpose is censorship resistance, being immutable, being permissionless, and being borderless, right? Combating governments and stopping control and censorship is the purpose of crypto, right? So there has to be an economic premium that you're willing to pay for, right? Being able to transact without my government telling me what I can and can't do is powerful to me. And I don't mind paying a little extra or waiting a little bit longer. Or when it comes to like day-to-day daily payments, this is why they're going to have like sharded chains and things of that nature. But of course, the $1 billion man, you could buy fractions of Ethereum. you can go 18 decimal places. That's the smallest unit of ETH. Yeah, I believe it's 18 decimal places. I see at least $10,000 to $15,000 Ethereum. Ethereum is basically when you look at ETH, you have to look at Ethereum as the base layer protocol, right? So like when you look at the internet is a suite of protocols. You have FTP, SMTP, HTTP. I covered this before in older videos. If you want, you could go watch it. And that suite of protocols makes up the application, which is the internet that's running on top of those protocols. Like SMTP allows you to be able to send email. All of those protocols makes up the internet that we use now. But you have to have the base layer protocol, and then you're stacking all of those protocols on top to eventually get to the internet. The same thing is going to happen with Ethereum. So at the base layer, you're going to have Ethereum. And then above that, you're going to have an organization like Maker and DAI. So now you have a stable coin. So you have Ethereum acting like the bond, the base layer of the entire protocol stack. Then above that, you have DAI. Then above that, you'll have like an Aave. What's another one? You'll have like a Curve, like basically more liquidity providers, and then aggregators. And then above that, you have exchanges. So you'll have like Uniswap, you'll have Kyber, you'll have Synthetics, and then above that, you have other applications, right? You just keep abstracting above that. But at that base, the base layer that all of these applications are stacked and built on top of is Ethereum. And you have to pay gas fees with Ethereum, right? So Ethereum will always have utility and value in that stack of all of those different applications. And then you have to start thinking about, like non-fungible tokens, collector's items on the blockchain. Start thinking about real estate transactions happening on top of the blockchain. Now, you have to abstract probably like 4 or 5 layers higher. But again, all of that's going to be built and stacked on top of Ethereum, right? So Ethereum is going to be able to capture all of that wealth that's happening in that ecosystem, all of that wealth that's happening in Aave, all of that wealth that's being transacted and transferred on Synthetics, all of that's ETH, right? You're paying your gas fees, right? And all of that's basically circulating and funneling through Ethereum, right? So I believe Ethereum is going to capture so much of that network effect. And we always talk about that. Like when you look at like if I had my cell phone, if I'm the only person with the cell phone, how valuable is that network? How valuable is that technology? But when you start layering in 1 million people that have cell phones, and then now people want to start building things on top of the cell phone to capture that wealth, right? Because now you have so many different apps. One app may be $5, another app may be $2. It incentivizes people to want to start building and capturing some of that wealth, because now you have a network of people. We make networks powerful. So as more and more people get onboarded into crypto, Ethereum is going to be able to capture all of that utility as the base, right? So that's extremely powerful when you start understanding that. Like that's like a super network, to the point where there's more Bitcoin, wrapped Bitcoin, sitting on top of Ethereum than that's sitting in the Lightning Network, right? So like when you start thinking about that, like so many applications being built on top of Ethereum, if we can get these, the sharded chains and everything to work, and then you start thinking about Polkadot, and you start thinking about Chainlink. Think about this. If Ethereum's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar asset, and then you start thinking about, well, they need data, and you need layer 2 scaling solutions, and you start thinking about, well, where does that take Polkadot? Where does that take Chainlink? Because Chainlink by far has the oracle and the data market locked up. It's not even close. Like when you look at like Band, and you look at, what's the other one? I think it's Telor, TRB. Let me pull it up, right? Because I know the trolls always want to come and troll me when I say things incorrectly. I'm sorry about that, guys. I have a little I speak a little Ebonics sometimes. Sorry. I think it's TRB. Yeah, Telor. This is another one that I was looking at. I remember I was talking to you guys about this. This was months ago in one of our Q&As that we had inside of the academy. This chain is dead now. No, it's not enough. Like, look at the volume. It's piss poor. The 24-hour volume is 56 million, but they were supposed to compete with Chainlink and Band. And look, this chain is dead as well, but it's pumping over the past few days. Should have purchased some. Look at that. It went from 17 to 24, roll back over. Yeah, so Chainlink by far has the Oracle market locked up. That's why I like Graph in terms of APIs and being able to connect and get data. There we go, Paul. Yeah, he said Teller, right? So I like Band, not because I think that it's close to competing with Chainlink, but just I know people are always looking for like a derivative play or like number two. So sort of like you have Tesla and then you have NIO. Like people are going to pile into NIO just because the story is going to be it's the next Tesla. Not that they will be, but just that's the story. So that's why I was looking for like other Oracle plays. I'm still in the process of looking for some stuff because I know a lot of you, you know, it's not financial advice, but you like to gamble in these small coins. Quite a few of you. So I've been putting together a list. I was looking at this again. I was speaking about this a while ago. If you look at the market cap, it's only $34 million. So it's a tiny market cap. So it has a lot of room to run if it starts to run. A lot of you are looking for that. Those type of coins. So I've been looking for that for you guys. You know me, I don't like to play in that type of stuff. I think that is just too much risk. But look at this. The high in this was $94. And then it just tanked and is down here at 18. So I've been looking at it like if I want to get involved in it. It said Rapi LLC official says, how did you gain all of this knowledge on crypto? Well, number one, I develop and I build a lot of this stuff, right? Remember, I was working on my own cryptocurrency and stuff. I was trying to do an augmented reality like Pokemon Go, but put it on a blockchain, and it was going to be more like a sort of like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's what I was working on before. I was working on that for a while by myself, and then I realized like there's just absolutely no way I can do this by myself. So I by diving deeper into the technology from the actual building perspective, you learn so much more about it. Like for those of you who are in the coding bootcamp that we have going on right now, once we really start getting into databases and we really start like ramping up the stuff when we get past the basic, like, you know, click a button, stuff like that, your knowledge of crypto is going to pick up so much quicker because you're going to be dealing with the technology on a more intimate level, like at the lowest level, at the machine level. And then also I've been involved in this stuff for 8 years, guys. I've been doing not 9 years. I've been involved in crypto since late 2011, 2012. So I've been around for a really, really long time. I lost a hell of a lot of money by getting hacked and scammed with Butterfly Labs and Mt. Gox. And I do this all day. Like how Mr. Swaggy says he does this in real life. Like I do this in real life. I play with this technology for like 8 to 10 hours a day. Because I know that this is the future. Like it's so obvious that this is the future. But the sad thing about it is most people just don't understand tech. Like when you look at the stock market, look at the wealthiest companies. Like I pulled this up the other day. Just look at the most wealthiest companies. They're mainly technology companies. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, the FANG stocks, they're dominating, right? And data is a very powerful thing as well. Why do you think I keep recommending you guys get into programming and coding? Because that's where the jobs will be. Let's pull this up right here. I showed you guys this the other day. Like, look at this stuff. Like, look at this. You have Apple, technology company, Microsoft, right? These are the most valuable assets in the world right now, right? So you have Apple, which is number 2, Microsoft number 4, Amazon number 5, Alphabet number 7, Tesla number 8. Facebook number 9, Tencent number 10. That's what, 7 out of the 10? Because you have gold number 1, you Saudi Aramco, silver, right? So 7 out of the 10 are technology companies. Think about that. 7 out of the 10 most valuable assets in the world are tech companies. But again, people don't like to listen to me for whatever reason. Maybe they just don't like my delivery. I don't know why. But why do you think I steer you towards tech so much? And I keep trying to tell you, like, whether it's marketing, whether it's branding, merchandising, whether it's programming, developing. Like I mainly focus on the programming and developing because I believe that that's the easiest way for you to make a decent living. with coding and programming. I just posted the link in the chat for you, the $1 Billion Man. Like, if I'm the average person right now and I'm sitting at home and I'm unemployed and I don't have anything to do, and I'm saying to myself, what can I learn with little to no money and actually be able to make a living with? It's coding. Like, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to learn it. You just have to spend time. You need to get into a community like the community we have. You need to collaborate with like-minded people. You need to bounce ideas off of each other. And you need to just sit in front of your computer and just click the keys. Harvard, they have CS50, OpenCourseWare, free. They start teaching about web development and artificial intelligence, free. MIT, they have OpenCourseWare. I'll show you guys. You know me, I always show you guys where you can find information at. I just think being in a group is better when it comes to learning, because you get to bounce ideas off of other people who are more experienced than you, who can point you in the right direction. But if we come over here and we just go, let's go Harvard, give me 1 second, CS50, and we come here, right? So, you know, this is what I do all the time. Like, I'll come here, like, even when I want to get like ideas to write about, like ideas to teach my students and stuff like that, I come right over here to CS50, the beginning stuff, right? Computational thinking, like all of this stuff's right here in CS50, and you just go here to playlists, and you can learn anything you want. I'll post it in here. So where they have it at, CS50 lecture clips 2018. Let's see, CS50. Let's go a web development. All right, web program. Right. Where's the video that I watched? Normally they show like things I've watched on here. Let's try JavaScript. CS50 JavaScript, right? Right here, right? So they have, it's like you're taking the actual Harvard class. So I'll copy this for you and paste this here. Right there. So you got CS50. You have MIT, right? So you have MIT computer science. If you come here, you could get a whole computer science degree right here at MIT OpenCourseWare. It's not a real degree per se, right? I'm just saying, like, it'll be as if you're taking a computer science, you know, curriculum here. You can just go to playlists. Look at all of the stuff they have here. They have principles of microeconomics, introduction to biology, introduction to Black studies, whatever you want to learn, introduction to nuclear engineering. You can learn all of this stuff like right from the comfort of your home. Like real solutions to things that you can actually do. I always tell people to start with JavaScript, HTML, CSS. HTML really isn't a programming language. It's more just like a formatting language and structuring language. CSS is more for design, but you need all three. That makes up basically the building blocks, and any website you come across is made up of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. That's what we're focused on right now, like the introduction stuff. So I always say start with that. And then obviously, you want to play a little bit with the back end. So you can start with like Node.js for back end, maybe a little bit of PHP. And then after that, not PHP. I would just say go JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Node.js. Then you can, if you want to get into like machine learning, artificial intelligence, then you can go the Python route. Start learning a little bit of Django and Flask. And then you go from there. Then you can start looking at different programming languages. Once you understand like just the basics, like different data types, classes, you know, objects, functions, arrays. Like once you know the basics, you can apply it to any programming language. It may just take you some time to pick up like the syntax, but different languages, they shine for different use cases. Like Python's more like about like data and analyzing data and machine learning and stuff like that. JavaScript is more like for building like dynamic websites and web pages. So when we start talking about crypto and we're talking about building like decentralized applications, You have a front end. That's where you use your JavaScript and stuff like that to make like a front end website. And then you'll connect to some type of a backend, or you'll connect to a blockchain, and you can start using, the Truffle suite and stuff like that. So, those are, let me see something. I went to Long Island University, Brooklyn campus, right in downtown Brooklyn. Let's see some of the questions that you guys got. I've been running my mouth. I'm sorry about that, guys. Cosmos, Algorand, Elron, Orchid, Augur. I keep hearing about Orchid. Is Orchid, Courtney Gibson, is that the VPN cryptocurrency I've been hearing about? The virtual private network crypto? Yeah, I looked into API 3. I'm not really that impressed. I started looking into it. I'm not really that Samiri 2. I don't really think that is that superior, to be quite honest with you. Lou H asked me about Wi-Fi. Let's look at Wi-Fi, right? Because everyone was hyped on Wi-Fi. The guy Andre. I think Andre's a beast. I think he's really, really intelligent, but I think people are putting too much faith into him, man. I'm sorry, but this is some really complex stuff that we're playing with. Let's look at Wi-Fi and see what's going on. It look like it's pumping again. 30,000. All-time high is 40. Yeah, I think Andre's adding too much complexity into this. Crypto in general is just, by nature, it's complex stuff because you're blending so many different disciplines at one time. So it's only a matter before something goes wrong, like happens bad. And he's like a mad scientist. Like he's just tinkering with so many different things. So this is a governance token, I believe, anyway. Right? Like this allows you to have collect like the fees and things of that nature. Like it's sort of like buying into a hedge fund is what I understand Yearn Finance is. But I just think that eventually one of the things that he's doing will blow up. Now, what impact that'll have on Yearn's price, I don't necessarily know. But I believe Yearn is a governance token. I believe it's a governance token where you just basically, it's sort of like the Uni token, right? Where you get to participate in the token fees. You get to participate in governance and things like that. I think it's unique because it allows you, like in crypto now, like sort of like an institutional investor, where like you're basically buying into the strategies and things that Andre's putting together, which I think is pretty cool and unique. But I just think that people are putting too much faith and trust in one man. And he's been buying up, well, I wouldn't say he, but they've been buying up a lot of other different protocols in crypto. I agree with you. Just go with JavaScript at first. I thought I hate it coming from Python, but JavaScript is pretty amazing when you start digging. And yeah, I just think that JavaScript is much easier to learn if you apply yourself, right? Because it just gets to a certain point where you especially like with like ES6 Plus and just like so many of the different improvements. And again, we're about to launch 100 days of code. Like what I'm doing now is I'm just building out all of the stuff so that when I launch it, I can just plug and play. And then what I'm going to do is, because there's some guys in the group, like they were like senior web developers at Facebook. They're better programmers than I ever could be. I want to do like a Zoom with them, and we can start sort of, I want to pick their brain a little bit because they have more professional experience than I do in programming. And I want to pick their brain a little bit more because what I may want to do is allow them like to take over some of the JavaScript stuff so I can focus more on the React and the Solidity stuff. Because I want to kind of like get ahead of where we are now. Like a lot of you are making money. Obviously, you're doing well. But like there's other products and services that I want to start bringing into the academy. And there are some really, really smart and intelligent people, especially when it comes to coding and programming, and already in the academy. They're just sitting back waiting until we get to the point of building some dApps and stuff like that. Because I keep trying to tell you guys we're early. There's so much low-hanging fruit of business ideas and cryptocurrencies that you can build. Especially when you start using things like Open Zeppelin and stuff like that, where they already have audited smart contracts and stuff, and you just plug and play. You know, like something as simple like as crypto kitties. Like that idea was worth so much money. Like it's so easy to launch a crypto right now, or an idea in crypto and get millions of dollars. Like I was even thinking about something like a FanDuel, like a prediction market for like sports betting and stuff like that. All you really need is a cool UI, a user interface, and if you can get like enough funding and marketing behind it, you can go start pushing and pumping that. Right? Because this is crypto, everything pumps. You put some token behind it. Like if people own a certain amount of the tokens, they can make money, and before you know it, you'll be like top 50. So I have like a lot of ideas and things that I want to start working on. Expat Crypto, I believe you messaged me before. My fee is $200. I believe you messaged me before we spoke a little bit. This is the actual website. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up for you. So you just come over here to the website. You book a consultation. For those of you that's interested in crypto, we have a free 7-day trial. You're welcome to come and test it out and see if you like it, and you're welcome to stay if you want. Yeah, just come over here. I had getting a little tired. So you just come over here and book a consultation. And then you basically submit your questions and stuff like that. If I can answer your questions, I'll let you know. So I don't take your money, right? First, you have to tell me what the questions are. And if I have the ability to be able to deliver you satisfactory answers, then you book the consultation, you'll pay. If not, I'll just let you know I can't do it. And I normally respond within like 48 hours. So, no, as of right now, the lifetime memberships aren't available anymore. Damn, don't tell me that, Truly Turbo. Michael Saylor said $15 million Bitcoin. That's insane. Yeah. I'm just going to say Alex because I don't know if it's Alize. I don't want to mess up your name. So I'm just going to say Alex. I agree with you that you should have a plan to cash out at a certain point. You shouldn't just hold to the end and lose everything on a pullback. But it all depends on where you get in from at, right? Like get in at, you know, I've been in crypto from a very, very low price. I've been in ETH since it was $40, right? So I'm sitting on a lot of crypto, and what I want to do is I believe crypto is going to outperform everything. I'm more or less just raising some cash from certain cryptocurrencies that I just feel that they're not performing the way that I want them to perform. And I want to allocate that to other cryptocurrencies, right? I don't want to just, like, fiat is dead. We know the dollar is dead. And now that the Democrats are in control of everything, the amount of inflation that they're going to generate and what they're about to do to this country is going to be absolutely insane. So obviously, I believe that crypto in general is a store of value. And I believe the crypto market's an undervalued asset class. I just want to cash out of some other cryptos into other cryptocurrencies that I believe are a little bit better. And then there's some new cryptocurrencies getting ready to come onto the market that I want to be involved in. And also, I'm thinking about moving. I'm seriously considering moving to either the state of Georgia or Texas. So, because what's coming now, I want to be able to have my own land. I want to be able to have my guns. And I want to be able to have a tactical plan on how I'm going to defend myself. Right? So, these are things that I'm seriously considering, right? So I want to buy my house outright. I don't want a mortgage. So these are things that I'm considering right now, right? So that's another reason why I'm raising some cash or some crypto too, because I want to move. Democrat equals wrecked. Yeah, you know that. No, I'm not getting a mortgage. I'm buying my house outright. Yeah, New York isn't good for that at all. Yeah, I want to go to Texas, man. Get load up, and protect myself. Cause things are it's about to get ugly out here. A lot of you think that this is small stuff. It's about to get ugly out here. Stay away from network marketing, in my personal opinion. I just, it's not a good business model. Just apply the math and look at the pyramid scheme, and you'll begin to start to see that the math it doesn't make sense when you look at network marketing. Do a 3x3 matrix, right? And just keep multiply 3 times 3, and then 3 times 3, and then 3 times 3, right? Just keep doing that, a 3x3 matrix, right? So you go 3 times 3, that's 9. 9 times 3, 27. 27 times 3, 81, right? You keep going on and on and on and on and on. Eventually, you start to realize very quickly, like, it's what they're selling you is just it's a scheme. You don't need to be involved in that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's politics, though, guys. You can't get caught up in the whole right-left paradigm. You have to be smarter than that. Remember, the Great Reset's all about driving polarization, right? The whole idea of the Great Reset is to hollow out the middle, where you no longer have open and free discussion, where it's all about it's either left or right? It's either you agree or you don't agree. So this is what happens, where like you and I, we can't have civil discourse anymore. There's no such thing as a center. So when people get caught up in this Republican versus Democrat, it's just the left and right wing of the same bird that's flying towards the same end game at the end of the day, an end goal. You have to be smart enough to start focusing on making sure you're here after, and that you are in position to thrive. We know the media, they lie, they manipulate. Conservative media lies as well, right? Liberal media lies, conservative media lies. They all lie, right? We have to be, smart enough to see through things. What I would say is this, and some of you might not like me for saying this, and you may unsubscribe. Do I think the media is trying to demonize all conservatives with what happened yesterday? Absolutely. But I do know that if a group of black people, right, decided to go down to Washington and tried to run up and storm the White House or the Capitol building and do what happened yesterday, that the outcome would have been different. I don't believe that people who look like me would have been able to just go walk up in that building and walk out unscathed, and only a few people get arrested. Now, obviously that's subjective, and I am speculating. I don't have any factual proof. But what I will say is that when you saw, black people protesting, who weren't even part of Black Lives Matter, just protesting, they were immediately met with force and violence. So, now some people, I know you don't want to hear that, but that's, it's a reality. So, I'm fair, right? I'm not a person, I understand that sometimes, people exaggerate things, but it's different. So we have to be mindful of these things sometimes. And I get it. The Democrats are liars too, but two things can exist at the same time. The Democrats, they can be liars, and race and racism could be real in this country. And as I get a little bit older and I get a little bit more mature, I see things on a deeper level. I don't just look at just like statistics all the time and data. I also just look at, interactions like yesterday. And I say to myself, would those interactions have been as peaceful yesterday if it was a group of black people? When I see armed officers inside of the building running away from protesters. Like a cop, he's like, back up. And then he runs away and they chase him. You know, would that officer had opened fire if the group of people were black and said he feared for his life? Right. So, you know, these are things that, you know, you just got to be mindful of, right? Be mindful of. And as I said before, you know, the part of the Great Reset is just making sure that you are prepared spiritually, physically, mentally, and financially and emotionally. And you don't allow people to emotionally gaslight you. I think that those things are important. Right? Right? You have to just be a little bit more nuanced in your thinking. See what else is going on here. I like this build today. It's much calm. So we're seeing a little pullback. We down like $100. Mm-hmm. Oh, Todd Mack, obviously think about it. If you, like I said yesterday, you truly believe that, you know, thousands of people were able to hop on a plane, coordinate with each other, and just magically waltz up into that building, and that wasn't allowed to happen. I mean, any person, right, looking at this can see that that's political theater, right? Like nothing. When you understand technology on a fundamental level that I understand, and understand that everything is traced, tracked, and monitored, they knew that that was going to happen. They let that happen, right? Don't forget that Rahm Emanuel said, "Never let a crisis go to waste." There's no way that those people just, that was spontaneous and it just happened out of nowhere. Come on, right? Like really? Like that, these things are manufactured and they are allowed to happen so that they can get a certain type of reaction that they want. Just why you have to be a little, you know, smart about things, right? Yeah, it looked like a staged event, 100%. Even if the event was real, they could have combated it and stopped it before it got to that point. Is what I'm trying to say, right? I'm not saying whether it's real or fake. What I'm saying is that with all of the technology and things we have, if they wanted to stop that, they could have been stopped it. Right? They could have been stepped in and stopped it if they wanted to. Sometimes they allow things to go that route and go that way so that they can then have an excuse to crack down. Right? So you have to be a little bit more nuanced in your thinking and not so reactionary. Right? I'm very one thing about me, I don't get very reactionary whenever I come across things that are happening in society. And that's one thing I pride myself on. Like even with the crypto markets right now, a lot of you're like, oh my God, I'm missing out. No, you're not. The market's going to crash. It's going to pull back. You're going to get a chance to get in. Just understand that when the crash happens, don't listen to CNN. Don't listen to CNBC. Don't listen to Boyce. Don't listen to these fools. What you do is you buy more. Or you buy at you dollar cost average at that price, right? You get the price you want. Be in control of your emotions. I live in New York as well, Jameson, Withers. And what you have to understand, like right now, what's happening in New York is that like if you go to Costco or BJ's, they only allow you to buy one or two of certain items, right? So like if you want to get like toilet paper, if you want to get like cans of like food and soups and stuff like that, they only allow you to buy two at a time. So this is why I say, and I consistently keep saying to you guys, make sure that you're taking the time to properly, get your supplies and have your backup plan, because, I believe that we're going to get another spike in cases, and I believe that we're going to go to another round of lockdowns. So if you can start like getting your supplies and stuff like that together, do that now. It won't hurt you just to have an extra, week or two worth of stuff, right? I'm not saying that you got to go crazy and spend your whole retirement on like doomsday stuff. I'm just saying that, have a little stash, right? Have a little stash, right? So like here in New York, they're definitely cracking down on things you can buy. Okay, so just make sure you prepare. Remember, I've been talking about this stuff since last February. I've missed a few things, but for the most part, I've been pretty spot on. I missed a few things here or there. And, I'll be here broadcasting and, giving you my insight on how I see things. I told you it's going to be the best of times and the worst of times, depending on who you are and where you are. Another run on toilet paper. Yeah. People were going crazy over toilet paper. They were going absolutely crazy over that. Chris says, and to think I used to turn these videos off when you started talking about crypto after talking about Tariq and Dr. Umar. I was crazy. But when you look at Tariq and Umar, it's just like they can't, they're relics, they're dinosaurs. They can't give you anything outside of race entertainment. They just can't. Right? Like that, like their knowledge base in Whalehouse, it's very limited. And I always say to people, like, if a person can't give me actionable information that I can take and do something with, that's what attracted me to the ADOS conversation so much, was that you could walk away from it and have such a better understanding of where you are financially and economically. When you look at this, like when people just want to talk about, race and racism all day long, it's like, well, what solutions are you really offering us as a people? Like what can I take away to insulate me a little bit or protect me more? But they serve a purpose. Tariq and they're there for people who want race entertainment. There's no knock on you if that's what you like, but that doesn't, that to me personally, that doesn't propel me further. This is same. I ignored this channel when I saw the Young Pharaoh video, and now I look back and Young Pharaoh is full of S, and I learned so much from this channel. Yeah. Listen, man. Young Pharaoh suffers from the Dunning-Kruger effect. He truly believes that he has more cognitive ability than he actually does, and he thinks he's intelligent. So when you're dealing with a person who they truly believe they're smarter than they truly are, then they overinflate their ability to research. And when you have a bunch of people sitting there consuming it, and they're not like following up on what you're saying, then it comes off as intelligence, and it's not. It's kind of like it's scary that like people think that pseudo intellectualism is intelligence. So like in Pharaoh, like I listen to some of his videos and I'm almost like, damn. A second. Thank you for the donation, JSPZ. Hello, sir. Well, I can give you an answer for Polkadot. Anyway, I can't really give you an answer. When I look at Polkadot's a really, really complex piece of technology. I could easily see Polkadot reaching about a $50 to $100 billion market cap within the next year to a year and a half. Easily. Polkadot's a piece of rich, deep technology. The founder, Gavin, he basically wrote the Solidity programming language, which is used for Ethereum. And he is the co-founder. Him, Vitalik, and Charles, they co-founded Ethereum. So there's a reason why he decided to leave Ethereum and go work on the Polkadot project. Gavin is really, really bright. The team at Polkadot, they're extremely capable. Easily worth $100 billion. Easy, right? So that puts a, from here, we're talking about a 10x, 11x on your money. So we're talking about $100 Polkadot, $120 Polkadot, easily. I that may be undervaluing Polkadot. That's like a modest prediction. I'm telling you, once you get into the coding aspect and you really start playing with this technology and you understand the limitations, and then you start realizing what Polkadot and Chainlink, what they can do and allow the technology to do, or potentially be able to do, it's like, turbocharging the tech. So I would 100% say, take a serious look at Polkadot. Serious look at Polkadot. I'm talking about a 10x. I believe it's going to do more than that. I'm just trying to be conservative in what I say. I see a 50x. I see Polkadot and Chainlink being the Apples and Amazons, honestly, and Googles and Alphabets of the crypto space. Like these are going to be powerful pieces of technology and blockchains, seriously. And I don't say that jokingly. That Polkadot's a serious project. I have a significant amount of money in Polkadot and Chainlink, and I want to buy more, even at the price that it's at right now. So when I say a 10x, I'm just being modest. But thank you for the donation. Web3 100%. Where this is going, the Internet of Things, is just going to be powerful. And I wish I could do a course on Polkadot and stuff. I just don't have the time. So I'm starting to get a little tired here, guys. AMLG says, where do I learn about crypto as a newbie? You learn at My Tech Academy, what I created. Here's a link if you're interested. There's also a link in the description below. Just posted it for you. My Tech Academy right here. You have a free 7-day trial. You can come test it out, see if you like it. If you like it, you are free to stay. You're welcome to stay. And we go from there. We cover all of the basic stuff that you need to know. We focus on how to invest in the technology, get into the technicals and the basics. So I'm going to wrap it up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the video down and I'm going to edit out all of this crypto stuff. And then I'm going to re-upload the video with just the Jay Morrison stuff. And I'll do that tomorrow. And we'll go from there. So please like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, set it to all, join my mailing list. Link is in the description below. Also, to follow me on Instagram, shoot me a DM. We can dialogue if need be. For those of you who are interested in learning about crypto, blockchain technology, a link will be in the description below as well. Again, we have a free 7-day trial. If you want to talk business, you can book a consultation with me. I'm a little bit overbooked right now with consultations because of the lifetime memberships. I still have to give some people a consultation. Some of you who are lifetime members, you haven't booked your consultation. Make sure that you book the consultation so that we can go from there. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. As you can tell, guys, I'm exhausted. I was on the Karen Hunter show earlier today. You can go check that out. Had a pretty good build over there. A link is in my community section if you want to go take a look at that. And again, tomorrow we'll be back to talking about crypto and talking about some fun stuff. Have a blessed and beautiful night, guys. Oh yeah, and thank you to everyone that donated too, by the way.